Hey there, it's Derek. Thanks for visiting my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how we can remove the cassette from our rear wheel. So I have the Flow Carbon 60mm wheel, rear wheel right here, and currently I have an 11 through 28 cassette. I've always used 28 cassette ever since I had to replace my first one. My first bike came with an 1126, and that was before the 1128 craze kind of hit everything. Now 1128 is the standard. I've recently wanted to switch to an 1132. This cassette's getting a little worn out, so I figured now is a good time. We're going to need three things when we're replacing our cassette. One, a brand new cassette. This is a Shimano 105 5800 cassette. I chose to buy one of these instead of the Ultegra just because it's only a few grams lighter and I don't really notice a big performance difference. Next, we'll need a chain whip, and this is used to wrap around the cassette and help us pull it off. And finally, we'll need a cassette tool. This one's meant for Shimano cassettes. If you're unsure of what cassette tool you'll actually need, just talk to your local bike shop. They should sell anything you need. And if you really don't want to do the job yourself, you can just have them replace it for you. So before we do anything, we need to get the wheel ready. So what we're going to do is remove the skewer. So you just simple untwisting of it, and then pull it right out. So it has this little cap piece with a spring. I just put it back on the way it came off. That way I don't lose it. It's really annoying to have to either search for it or buy a new one. Now we're ready to use our tools. So we're going to take our chain whip and we're going to wrap it around the cassette. It doesn't really matter what tooth you, or which cog you put it on. Somewhere in the middle is always where I go. Next we're going to take our cassette tool, and for convenience I have a little Allen key that I just attached to the back. You don't really need that. You can see that you can just use a normal wrench here, but I use this just a little bit easier. We're going to take it and line up little teeth with the grooves on the cassette, and we're just going to insert it right in. At this point, all you're going to do is turn the cassette tool left. And so it's the same as righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So in this case, just a couple quick turns, and it's off. All you need to do is remove the chain tool, pull off the cassette tool, and off comes this little lock ring for the cassette. Just set that off to the side. And I like to just take a rag, any rag would do, and I mean I keep my cassettes pretty clean, so there's not really going to be a lot of grease, but if you don't, you're getting your hands all dirty. So just grab the whole thing and pull it right off. Just wrap it up and throw it to the side. So at this point, we have our rear wheel with the hub exposed. All we're going to do is take the new cassette out of its packaging, unwrap, it'll slide right out of the packaging. So it's got this convenient little plastic piece here in the back to hold it all together. There's a little tab, at least on this one, your cassette might be a little different, that you just pull that right off and tip it over. This top cap or lock cap just kind of pops right off, and that first cog, your 11 tooth, will be come right off, and then you'll just push this through, push this through the top, and you're all set. Here's a little tip that will save you some time. You'll notice that on your free hub body there are different size teeth. If you find the smallest one, you can use that as your starting point. So what we're going to do is look for the smallest tooth on this free hub body and the smallest groove and line those two up. Definitely takes a little skill, a little bit of balance. I just kind of press it together. You can take a little peek on the bottom. Make sure you keep that together. Find that smallest tooth and stick it right on. And I didn't get all of them in one swoop. So what you'll notice is the cogs that didn't go on are all loose, and in between there are spacers. So we're just going to do the exact same thing. Find that smallest groove and insert it right onto the cassette. You might be wondering, if you've never done this before, if you're doing it right. And trust me, there's no way of doing it wrong. The way these are machined, you can't flip it on the back and put it on. It just won't let you. And that's a great thing about these little teeth and grooves. Now, the final step is to hand tighten this lock cap onto the cassette. We want to do it by hand just because we don't want to risk stripping the threading on the free hub body. If you do that, that's a much more expensive, much more annoying repair. Another little trick that you can do is to run your fingers along the teeth and make sure that nothing is loose. Right now we have it done right, but if you feel any rattling or looseness, you are probably are missing a spacer or something else might be wrong with it. You want to just take it off and check it again. What we're going to do is take that cassette tool again. We're going to insert it in just like before, and this time we're going to go right. And so how tight should you do this? There's actually some specs that you'll find in your cassette's instruction manual. I've done it so many times I kind of know where it goes, but really what you're looking for is a nice firm tighten. You don't want it to go too tight that you're going to strip something off, and you don't want it loose enough that it's just going to fall off while you're riding. A couple tight bits. My wheels kind of make a little bit of a noise. I figured that's tight enough for me. Remove the cassette tool, get your skier ready, loosen that end cap again. Be sure not to lose that little spring, and that's it. You've just replaced your rear cassette. Again, small little check. Just run your fingers across it, make sure it's nice and firm. Give it a quick spin. Everything's looking good, and it's ready to go back on your bike. Thanks for watching. Just as a reminder of the tools you'll actually need: a chain whip and your cassette tool, which should be specific to the type of cassette you're putting on, whether it's SRAM, Shimano, or Kempe. Hope you guys have a great week. Get out there and ride, and we'll see you next time.